Especially when they sneak around.
Yeah, it's very just unnatural. The whole experience of being spied on, or even if they're there, it's something I've never really kind of gotten comfortable with. So the press comes out and, I read it. Like sometimes you just read these things. I don't often read stuff, but I wanted to see the pictures. And so I read it. And I was kind of taken aback by some of the comments that people had. And more so what it was upsetting for is the kind of narrative around how women are supposed to look. It wasn't so much like, oh, that's really hurtful towards me. Like, I kind of am used to things over the years. I can brush it off. It was just like shocking, like to see someone write another body ruined after a baby. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, sure, I haven't bounced back. It's 7 months later, but like,
You looked amazing. The
like
fact
maybe
that
I have a little more juice, but it's one of those things. It comes with the territory.
It does, but it's not fair. It's never fair.
I was
and it's
quiet
never
for
nice.
a couple of days. It stung for a couple of days, but you get on. It makes you stronger. And
does.
But really, it was more kind of like, really, are we still at this place where we have to have
defend our bodies?
Pressure of like bouncing back after a baby? It's just everybody's body is different. Everyone's on their own journey, and I really want for every mother to really focus on herself ultimately, but also the time with her child, and it will come and it will happen, and everybody gets back to a place where they feel good again. And
well, that's
it's not
good
better,
advice. I'm
because
taking
I feel better now and I feel a different respect for my body than I did before.
I'm gonna take that advice home and really keep it near and dear to my heart, because I keep thinking about what's going to happen after, but I need to not. I need to think about focusing on my baby and the nourishment.
And focus on yourself.
And the love.
I
but
think
not the pressure.
Yeah, but not the pressure.
Yeah.
And weirdly, I didn't put a ton of pressure on myself because I could have probably lost it much quicker. But I just was at home. I took time off work. I was with my family, and it was slower. But you never get that time back again.
Yeah.
You never do. So I'm glad I did it that way.
Is this part of the reason why you've decided to not put Jack's face on social?
For me, it was just like, it's a no-brainer, really. Like, I just always felt really strongly that it should be Jack's decision if he wants to live a public life. I just dread the idea of him turning around to me at 15, 16 and being like, you and Dad just didn't protect me, you whored me out. It should be his choice. I want him to feel normal. Because without trying, it's going to, it's going to bleed
eventually.
in, and it's really different for everyone. And I don't judge either way, but that's what feels most authentic to me. And that's what,
No, it's good. I'm so curious because, like, in having this baby.
And by the way, it's so hot. My son's gorgeous. I just want to share with everyone.
How do you do it then with family? Are you just like sending photos out?
Yeah,
and you just tell them like, don't post?
People are really respectful. Jason and I have always been pretty private.
Yeah.
We've been together for 10 years now. It's like, we're pretty low key. We just like to keep things real. And I want to walk through my front door and be, normal and real. And then when I go to work, it's like a shift of identity. And it just helps me like kind of process everything. I need to feel that down to earth thing.
Well, let's talk about what's going on right now with you. Rose Inc., baby. I mean, the whole creative process happened in your third trimester?
I'd had the idea of setting up a content platform for quite some time. Every time I'd sit down to do an interview, the journalist would ask me for my tips, my tricks, and I could just see there was this appetite for it. And so I had this idea, and I've always been a lover of like fashion magazines and blogs and websites and content platforms. And so I really just kind of wanted to build something. And so for several years, I'd been really thinking about it. And of course, I was on a plane every 10 days, 2 weeks, every 5 days. Like, I was traveling all over. I said yes to everything. And I had fallen pregnant, and I thought, okay, I'm still going to work, because I still had to work through my pregnancy, but I'm going to sort of strip back on the traveling a little bit. And I built out a team, and we literally sat around my kitchen table for a year whilst I was pregnant, as I was breastfeeding,